Well, it is the new year. Welcome, everyone. I know we had an episode last week, the first week of January, but this is the first recording that we've done in the new year. We are recording this on Wednesday the 7th. It will go up on Tuesday the 13th. John Pidgeon from the This Is Property podcast. Welcome back to another banging year.
That is number 9, is it?
9th year,
Ooh.
Going into our 9th year. So if you see the 9 at the start of the episodes, that's the season. And yeah, we're pumped to be doing this still.
We're enjoying it as though it was year 1.
We really aren't. I mean, we really are. Now, this episode, we're talking about turning that investment property, or your house, into an investment property. There's a couple of case studies that we'll look at with divorces. You know, you've exited a relationship, you've rocked up with some assets. What do we do? And then we're going to talk about a real tragic question. I don't know if it was from the questioner in the Facebook group or someone that they knew, but received a terminal diagnosis. There's kids. What do we do? How do we protect everything with such a sad diagnosis? But we'll start by looking at can I turn my PPOR, principal place of residence, into an investment property whilst in a fixed period? This was in the Facebook group. Remember, if you're going to join our Facebook group where it asks, where did you hear about the group? Just put episode 901 or 2, whatever this is. 902, I think.
90210.
Look out.
Showing our age.
Showing your age, John. Looking to fix our rate for the next 3 years whilst I go on an extended maternity leave. However, we have toyed with the idea of moving during this period, but with interest rate uncertainty, we like the predictability of a fixed rate. If we want to, during the 3-year period, turn the PPOR into an investment, is this a loan restructure? Will there be bank breakage fees? If break fees happen, are they tax deductible, seeing it's somewhat of an investment cost? Thanks for any help. John, broadly speaking, let's talk about moving our main house, in keeping the house, moving out, turning it into an investment property. What do we need to look out for? What do we need to do?
Yeah, I think we would start by understanding why we're fixing the rate.
Right.
They've mentioned that they're going on maternity leave, so they want some certainties in their life, and that's traditionally why a lot of people fix rates, right? High level, we would say, generally speaking, variable rates come with it flexibility, and over the time, they generally win out over fixing rates over a period of time, because the banks generally don't want to lose in saying that. They'll offer a higher fixed rate if they feel that the variable rate's going to come down. So that's fine to be able to go and do that, but just know the implications of that. And one of those implications are that if they do want to get out of that early, there will be some sort of break fees, and it depends on what the current rate is at the time.
I think a lot of people, and I've been one of those people in 2015 when I purchased my first property, I did 75% of that mortgage, or 70%, as fixed.
Yeah.
Now, it was sub 5, considered cheap money, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason I say that is, the reason I did that was I was doing something new for the first time with uncertainty. And what I think this is this person's first child, potentially. Just an extra layer of uncertainty. So we want to make sure that, we're not left holding the bag.
Yeah.
But I would first say to the questioner in the Facebook group, you don't have to, it's not all or nothing. Can you do half fixed, half variable? My, general advice, for want of a better word, would not to fix, but you have to walk to the beat of your own comfort.
Yeah, and I actually don't have a problem with them fixing for the reason of we like the predictability of the fixed rate, right? Because that's a sleep at night factor.
Yeah, and that's the only, in this climate, that's the only reason you're doing it. Remember when rates were 1.5% you get a mortgage for, you're fixing because you know that not going to be any, like you categorically know that this is a good deal. Let's
That's
fix
a
it as long as
strategic
possible.
play. Yeah. Whereas this is an emotional play, so I can sleep at night during this period where I'm not getting the income that I was before I went on maternity leave.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So I'm okay with that. But just know the implications of that. If we then go on to, right, through this 3-year period, we turn the PPOR into an investment, in some ways nothing changes.
No.
Right? It's the loan can remain as is. We move out. The tenant moves in and live our life as normal, making sure that we make those repayments on that fixed rate. However, what we might do is, from a taxation point of view, things change a little. It's come from being a non-tax deductible asset to a tax deductible asset. So the first thing we would do is alert our accountant and get maybe a valuation on the property at that time.
Well, I don't think the word maybe should be used there. You should.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Evaluation.
Yeah, you should. All right, let's
I'm
go
coming
and
in
do
hot
that.
this year,
let's
John.
come and do that. And you
And
might.
why do you get a valuation?
Yeah, so for capital gains tax reasons. So our principal place of residence is capital gains tax free when we sell it, provided that we've been living in it for that period of time. If we haven't been living in it and we've been renting it out, then we may be liable for some capital gains tax, and that's why we just want to get that valuation at the time. Ideally, the highest valuation possible.
Yeah.
So going a step further, we may actually get 3 valuations, and then the highest valuation is the one that we
And your mortgage broker can help with that?
Correct. Yeah, they would get. I would ask for 3 valuations, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'd probably do is just illustrate that the reason that we get and I'll draw this, you talked about the cost base. Let's say that we purchase the house for $500K. 5 years later, we move it to an investment property and it's worth $1 million. And then another 5 years later, it's worth $1.5 million. Now, if we sell it 10 years after we purchased it, and for half the time it was an investment property, effectively what happens is you pay capital gains tax on the gain post $500K. So there is $1 million gain. However, the flashpoint here where we move out and we get it valued and we've got evidence that it is worth $1 million, when we move out later and sell it, we're only paying capital gains between the 1 million and the 1.5. So we're effectively resetting, they call that the cost base with the asset.
Now, where it gets interesting is the 6-year rule.
Yes.
Right. So they might not be liable for amount of capital gains tax as they think, purely because if they haven't bought another property and they're just simply renting it out, they're still claiming that as their principal place of residence. But generally speaking, the ATO is saying, well, you can't have your cake and eat it.
No. So no issues. Move out. If you are listening and you are planning on doing this in the future, like my first property, I set up my mortgage. So I had the mortgage there. It was, we'll just call it $500K. I had an offset account. I was just paying minimal principal and interest, and any other savings were in the offset account. I was not paying down any extra of the mortgage, because when I moved out and wanted this to be an investment property, I moved the money out of the offset account and I've got the maximum amount of tax deductible debt. So that's just for those planning on doing a strategy like this.
Yeah. The thing that we also want to say in regards to the tax deductibility of the break fees, speak to your accountant. But generally speaking, you'd say, well, is it for an income producing purpose? That's the question that they're going to ask. So yeah, you could probably argue yes or no with that, but you probably could. But talk to your accountant. But just on that, when we're looking at, and I don't think we need to do this, but just for those tuning in, if we're looking at rates for owner-occupier and then rates for investors, we're generally seeing rates less for owner-occupiers, right? So we don't probably want to change it to an investment loan as such because that rate's going to be higher.
Yeah. And I'll give you an example. I had, we'll call it a portfolio of property. When I moved out of my house and turned it into an investment property, it stayed with that residential mortgage for 5-6 years or however long it was. And because I was then renting, and the reason I didn't refi that debt because it was on a lower rate.
Right.
When I did refi, it had to come into an investment debt because well, you don't live there. You say you live here and that's your address. But I will actually, for 100% completeness, say that in every fine print of every mortgage, I'm like an antibacterial wipe, John. I'm 99.99% sure, so a little bit of wiggle room there, that I can get rid of all germs. 99.99% sure that in every single mortgage document that you ever sign or that is ever issued, if the situation changes, you need to notify the bank. 99.99, it will be there. In practice, you don't.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is, if someone dies and the mortgage is in their name and there's still a spouse that's living in the house, don't call the bank and tell them that Bruce died or Heather died. Don't notify the bank, because a change in circumstances, the mortgage tied to the person who's dead, well, we've got to recall the loan.
Yeah.
So don't notify the bank. You should, as per their terms, but you can just move on with your life in practice.
You can, yeah. And being on maternity leave, our servicing would be lower than what it was prior to that. So, yeah, do everything that you need to before you go on maternity leave. Right?
Yeah.
That includes getting equity out. That includes getting your loan structured right, etc. Don't leave it to the last minute.
And just on that, as a segue, reach out to Sphere Home Loans. They support the podcast. Thank you to Sphere Home Loans for, helping numerous listeners review their mortgages. If you have not got a mortgage broker, we are pro mortgage broker in this world. Reach out to Sphere Home Loans. And look, this time of the year, January, you might be because let's be honest, John, the year doesn't start until after Australia Day. And we've all watched the tennis. In this time, do some life admin. Call Sphere Home Loans, review your current mortgage. We're about to, submit this next book, the Quick Start Guide to Your First Property. When I was going through the book and writing some of the foundations, it's so crucial to have a mortgage broker who's switched on. And, thank you to Sphere Home Loans for supporting the podcast here. My name is Glenny Boy James, and you are?
John Pidgeon.
And this is Money, Money, Money. Before we get into it, this show is general advice only, and I've got a license to provide that advice. Full details can be found in the show notes. I'm a former financial advisor. Now I do the Money, Money, Money podcast. If you're a regular here, we call it M3, and we do a podcast called Retire Right. I've got a book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, is available wherever good books are sold. There's a link in the show notes if you want to turn up your investing to 11, or if you're just getting started. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here today. This, a lot going on here, and if you are watching, I've put the post up on the screen, as well as I've just kind of broken it down to bullet points, because when we answer, and this is like seeing how the sausage is made, someone will write in this question, it's 4 paragraphs, and it's like, no, I just need the facts. And so underneath you'll see my kind of facts, but I'll read it now. We would love some advice. Be kind. I'm new to the game and still learning.
Aren't we all?
We all are. My partner and myself, 37 and 45, have started again together after divorces. Funny enough, both never owned property. We collectively earn $320K a year. Child support is $2,500 a month. And as far as I'm investing, and so far I'm investing $3K a month into VAS, $1K a month into our emergency fund, totals a 25K VAS and 20K emergency fund currently. My question is, am I doing the best to learn about investments? Is VAS the right place for a long-term compounding, for a long-term ETF? I can't get my head around splitting a portfolio off elsewhere when trying to capitalize on compounding and DRP over the long term. Side note, we'll both take advantage of both being first homeowners later in the year, and I'll be receiving a 150K early inheritance. For now, I thought best given our age and time in market to pump as much into ETFs as possible, but I could be wrong. Thank you. There is a lot going on there. Do you want to pick at that?
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I feel, obviously divorce is not a great thing. Sorry that's occurred.
Yeah.
So we're pressing reset on our journey.
Yeah.
Not only our financial journey, but our whole journey, right? So I think we need to, I don't know how far we're into this new situation, but I think the first part of it is don't be too fussed about the weeds when we're just trying to get back on track in our own situation.
The way I read this is we are in this situation, we're new, we want to buy that house and we want to, this clever dear, anonymous in the Facebook group, wants to invest and compound and do all that stuff. Straight off the top, I'm pausing the $3,000 a month into VAS.
Why?
Because I want to top up the emergency fund to complete that.
Okay.
I'm doing that first and foremost.
But we've got 20K.
Yeah, but their emergency fund could need to be 40.
Whatever they're comfortable
Whatever
with.
it is.
Yeah.
I'm doing that, number one. One thing we don't know is we know that there's child support. We want to know how many kids are on either side that we're supporting and what their ages are.
So I took that as clever dear having to shell out 2.5 on their own to the other partner.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Yep.
So regardless of how many kids we've got, that's the amount.
No. That's right. We collectively earn $320 and in total $2,500 a month child support. But it's important to note if they've got the ages of the kids. Are they 19, about to be an adult? Is that about to end?
So that amount will reduce.
Yeah, like there's just so much here. And this is honestly why we just need to step back and potentially look at the Glen James Sound Financial House and just work our way orderly and methodically. And the thing that I would want to know is the 37-year-old, I assume Clever D's 37, I assume the partner's 45. We want to know if they're on the same page and this is where it gets, I totally understand if Clever Deer is, and I think it's a woman because I can see everyone's name under the aliases, everyone, so watch yourselves. Absolutely, there is an argument that we're a blended family. There needs to be some type of mechanism where we've got joint household expenses where we're sharing money for, and we're also making sure our own individual kids are looked after as per our estate. I know there are situations, John, where there have been blended families and your kids are my kids and it's all good, but you're not crazy to want to literally just protect your own kids and have your wealth do that. So my question is, I'm doing my best to learn about investments. So number one, you need to probably pause your investing for now and learn in ETFs and learn a little bit more. Check out the Quick Start Guide to Investing. It's a blatant plug, but everything that you're talking about here will be answered in that book, because what you need to look at, Clever Deer, is you've got a couple of things happening. Number one, the ETF, I assume it's in your own name, based on your own age, stage, structure, and situation. Are your investments best in your own name? Does it need to be in a investment bond? Probably not, but could be. Does it need to be in super? Probably not. Could be. Who knows? But what I'm probably going back to is a real concise statement. We've got an inheritance of 150K this year. I assume that's Clever D's inheritance. We want to work out what we're doing with the house. We're both first home buyers. Who's on title and what percentage? We don't know if old mate who's 45 has got any assets. She hasn't mentioned that.
Well, they've still got they've got first homeowner benefits each.
That's right.
So they couldn't. They might not be living together.
No, they could be living together and not have.
But I'm saying they might not be living
Right.
together, and
Air
they
quotes.
could both take on.
Well, I like to follow the law, John.
Well, they might not be. Technically, they might not be living together.
That is
Glenn.
very
There's
true. There is very true.
item in there that says we are currently living together.
Very true.
Right. So, any case, take that as you need to, Clever dear.
So I think what we need to work out first, we're literally pausing everything. This is what I'm doing, piling up cash until we work out what home we're buying, where we're buying it, whose name we're buying it in. Then we can worry about our investing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would be doing the same thing when I'm going to buy a home. I just want to keep my cash.
And the only reason I say that is, you know, over the next 12 months, you're going to be putting, it could be 30 grand into VAS. You could go and see Sphere Home Loans and they're like, yeah, we can't do that, but if you put that extra 50 grand in your share account you'll be able to seal the deal.
That's right.
What if the market shats its pants and you need to pull that 50 grand out and it's only worth 40 now?
Yeah, and I think coming from a property perspective, just know, okay, there's two reasons as to why we'd go and buy property. One is mentally we're ready, we want to do it.
Yep.
Number two is the banks can lend us money. So we want to know what the banks can lend us as our next step. We may already know that. But then going in and understanding what the repayments are going to be collectively if we're not going and buying two separate houses.
Yeah.
And then just, as you said, the ownership structure is really good, important to have a conversation with because we've just – well, I feel it might be a new relationship. So, yeah, we just need to be careful there.
Yeah. So we want to focus on long-term investing and the DRP switched on. We'll get to that. The whole thing, this is around the house. So what you're saying, John, if they're not living together, 37-year-old, she could buy a house in her name, first homeowner grant, put the 150K inheritance into that.
5%.
Yep.
Could put down 5%.
Let's get it on, baby. We've
And
got
then-
no income caps anymore.
And then 5% to the 45-year-old, do the same thing.
Yep.
Two properties.
Yep.
Both live in them both.
And then if your situation changes and you want to move in together.
You've got your own. You've got asset protection and you've got diversification and leveraging of the bank's beautiful money.
So I would say, they say, for now I thought it best, given our age and time in the market, to pump as much into ETFs as possible, but I could be wrong. I think you're wrong just right now.
You're wrong.
There's no wrongs answers, John, but if they are, we'll let you know.
Correct.
And you also, as a probably in concert, once the house is purchased, actually could happen before, you need to go and see a accredited estate planning lawyer.
Very important.
And get your wills sorted. Talk to them about the house plan. Now, they could be like, no, we don't want two investment properties. We just want the one property.
It's a mindset thing, isn't it?
Whatever that is, you need to work out the house strategy first. And that's the big rock that you need to build everything around.
Just to
go.
cut you off.
No, you can do it.
Because, I'm feeling it. 320K a year is good coin for couples.
Yeah.
Right? So I think their servicing is going to be strong for two properties if they wanted to go that way. However, their mind might be, oh no, that freaks us out. Right?
Yeah.
But we want to rule it out before we don't, if that makes sense. So just put it on the table and say, well, what are the pros and cons if we did go down that path versus going the one. So may even be a clarity, to be honest.
Yeah, reach out to John Pidgeon. You do clarity calls, $400, spend an hour with John. You can use him as a sounding board. I will just want to say,
450.
oh, he's at 450 now. He's whatever. I don't even get a clip of that.
Well, you remember the time that you said it should be more, so
Yeah.
I put it up.
Yeah,
right.
good. Put it up to $600 and give me $200. No, I don't get a clip of John's clarity calls, sadly.
I don't either. It goes to the kids.
So I just want to finish with the reason that seeing a lawyer is so important is because you want to make sure that the house number one that you both buy is set up in the ownership structure of tenants in common, likely, and it could mean that if Clever Deer has some capital, Clever Deer could, because I want you to just not invest right now and just keep saving cash. I'm investing $3,000 a month. Clever Deer has got some serious leftover money.
Yeah.
That leads me to the question, we collectively earn $320. I actually think Clever Deer is the high income earner here and is having the lion's share of that earning capacity, because if you've got $3,000 a month, it's $30,000 a year. That's $60,000 a year of pre-tax earning ish.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
I think that's what I'm deducing from this. Stop investing, get the house sorted. The house might be 60 or 70% in your name with your contribution to it. And then as part of the will and estate plan, you'll talk to your lawyer about a lifetime tenancy arrangement potentially. So if you die, your partner has the right to live in that property. And then when they move out or sell it or need to move or whatnot, that percentage that you own then falls into your estate and goes to your kids then. That, or you decide if either of us die, the house gets sold within 18 months, or as soon as the youngest kid that's living there comes online as an adult, pick an age, whatever. And then what I want you to do, I circled DRP, and this is really good because you're engaged with learning about investing. DRP isn't the magic pill that allows compounding. I don't do DRP myself. I just pay out distributions and dividends into my cash account and just suck it back up investing. So that's just a mechanism there. So don't stress about that if your DRP is turned off. And particularly with VAS, Vanguard Australian Share Fund, I personally don't have more than, like, in my portfolio, 30% in Australian equities. So we need to diversify that pot of money, but all that secondary. Reach out to John, have a clarity call. After that call, John can introduce you to Sphere Home Loans or something and get a little bit strategic. But there's a lot going on here in terms of estate planning in particular.
If you were going to have that call, you'd probably, I would want you to get your borrowing capacity first, both on two properties as well as one, and your mindset
My
around
gut
that.
feeling is, we may.
The banks are lending a lot of money these days.
They are, but we may need to wait till that 150K walks in the door.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but
so-
you can still go to Rach and her
Oh,
team
yeah, and say, all right, what's our
"We're
target
getting this."
savings? We're going to use the 5%, and on that 5%, everyone, you can put more money in.
Yeah.
Like the government, that's just the
Yeah, or sit in the offset.
Yeah.
But you're hypothesizing, saying, right, broker, we're going to have this inheritance of 150. Now we can split it up two ways, or we can split it up one way. But what's our servicing based on our 320 combined or individual?
Yeah. Lots of moving parts there. Now, Provincial said, "Hi everyone, just coming out of a 25-year marriage. So unfortunately, I've taken a financial hit. I'm 51. In settlement, I got two small investment properties, both tenanted with minimal shortfall. There's about 150K of equity if, they sold them all. I've got a car, and I have a 300K in a industry super fund. I still have two children in secondary school. School fees are about $7,000 a year. I earn 117K. Prior to separation, we had Vanguard shares, which he spent.
No bitterness.
And, it could be some bitterness. And lots of equity in a PPOR, but he got the house. I have full care of the 2 kids. What would you do? 1, sell investment properties and buy a house for $550, borrow $400, pay minimal repayments and fill up super, then downsize at retirement. Or 2, keep IPs and rent until I'm 60, then sell IPs and buy a small unit. Thanks. So 51-year-old, and the rock up is there's $150K of equity if sold, $300K in super, got a car, got some kids, no home, no Vanguard shares, which I think it's more of a potentially Vanguard managed fund, and no access to the old home. So when separations happen, let's be clear, everyone, family law, there is no justice. There is just outcomes, and most of the outcomes are rubbish for most people most of the time. But we're here now. What are you doing? I'm probably flogging off the properties and putting all my energy into buying a house now.
I wrote one big word here, and it's called security.
Yeah.
So do you want the security of your own home to live in with your 2 kids who arguably might be out of home in
3 to 4, 5?
Maybe. So thinking about, is that important to you and them right now? That's the first question. And that's actually an emotional question.
Yeah.
Right. So finances aside for a minute, we've got to answer that ourselves. The answer to that is yes, I can't see myself renting, it's deflating, it dints my ego, whatever, and the kids don't like it, then I've got to that's the obvious route is to sell down on one or both of those investments. Sounds like it probably needs to be both, and just and capitalise into that in principal place. If you're feeling as though, look, I'm not fussed, I just want to make the best financial decision, I'm okay with renting, then you do need to look at the performance of those investments.
They've
right?
got to be dogs, don't they?
Well, it sounds as though they might be rough, but however, they might be new. They might have only bought them in the last 2 or 3 years. So we don't know the full story, but I'd be assessing them before I make any decisions about if it's a financial decision before I go and do that.
Yeah, you're right, because 150K of equity isn't much over 2 properties. However, if this person sold both of these properties to buy their home to live in, it might be harder to buy an investment property again based on having 2 kids under your care with 117K income.
Correct. So it's not a great. It's a solid income, but it's not a great income where you can just go and buy $1 million property, and you probably don't want that mortgage. But when you like the 150K, I'd like to know whether that's CGT taken into account as well. Is that 150 in the pocket? If it
Probably
is,
not.
Then if it's not,
leave them.
We're talking 100K is like, well, this is not worth it. But we've got to assess those 2 properties first.
When you do clarity calls and people have existing properties, do you have a service where people can pay you to review their portfolio?
Well, that's part of the clarity call.
Is.
We'll look it up, get some data on it.
Why wouldn't you do $450 to have a review of these?
Potentially provincial.
Provincial.
But yeah, so I think that's the key. We don't want to make any rash decisions, but I'd be looking at security. How important is that for you in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. I've just scribbled here on the screen, if you are watching, I'm probably making sure we focus first on the emergency fund. Second, make sure you've got your own income protection and disability insurances and life insurances in place. Get your will re-updated, power of attorney. And 51, I mean, John's basically 51. It's still young.
Well, I'm going on to the Retire Right podcast to talk about this.
You
right?
are? Oh, you are, yes.
And I've got some booming thoughts on this.
Don't excuse the pun.
And because provincial, 51, we're just getting started. I don't think my life's done.
No.
Right? And now the government, and I don't want to give away what I'm about to say on the podcast, but on Retire Right, but the government says we're done at age 65, 14 years, but that's a load of rubbish.
I don't know if the government say that.
Well, technically they are saying that because of accessing super.
Yeah, but just because you can access your super doesn't mean you're done.
I know, that's where I'm going.
All right.
But, yeah.
And then focus on the house, and then potentially once that dust settles, if you don't want to be a landlord or landlady, maybe a salary sacrifice into super. But yeah, I mean,
the one thing,
and the only other thing I circled as well, that $7,000 a year school fees, is that capped or is that increasing? Is that going to balloon to $10,000 in 3 years?
in my experience, it increases. Okay, definitely higher than CPI. But the really important thing here, I reckon, is just look at your situation and say, be motivated about what you can do in the next 20 years. Right? Don't look at it as though I'll just try and do my best sort of thing. It's
I don't love the idea of renting if you have the means to buy.
Yeah, well, there's two arguments to that.
So anyway, have a chat with John again. Could be a good port of call. We'll be back right after this.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au. And they'll point you in the right direction.
Okay, we are back and badder than ever. This is quite a sad sitch, this. Wills, separated families, terminal diagnosis. Tricky post. What advice would you have when drawing up a will knowing you have a terminal diagnosis that would best allow young children to be left money in a trust and ideally set them up well into their future? There won't be heaps of money. So I'm just going to flag that part. Young children, separated family. The primary parent is the one left behind, not financially separated. Solicitor has said to sever tenancy even though primary parent is trying to buy out of the property. I don't know what that means. A new partner of 18 months is on the scene and would like them also to be in the will without impacting children. I mean, if I got a new partner that's been 18 months, that's cute. Here, have 10 grand, but come on.
Especially when your kids have been in your life for that long.
Yeah, and then you said there won't be
money.
heaps of money. So how much is heaps of money in we'll call it the estate, so the equity in the house, the superannuation, cash, cars, furniture, that's kind of, well, the superannuation isn't the estate. I'm talking estate as a broader, your individual net worth. I'm a bit confused. So young children, separated families. The primary parent is one left behind. Okay, so it sounds like not financially separated. Solicitor has said to sever tenancy even though primary parent is still trying to buy. So the house is there.
Yeah, and the primary parent is the one with the kids, obviously.
And living in the house?
And living in the house.
Okay, so the primary parents and the two kids are living in the house, and the person with the terminal illness, we don't know where they live. But they are not financially separated, so potentially name still on the property where the primary carer lives with the kids. So
I can't see why.
So the solicitor said to sever the tenancy. Okay, so we're saying it's joint tenants. Yeah, well, we'd want to sever the tenancy because if old mate dies, this share, even though they're not living in the property, will automatically go to the surviving parent.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Unless it's tenants in common.
But you wouldn't need to sever that.
No, you wouldn't, but that's where the will comes into play, doesn't it? Because in their will, they would say this portion of the value of the home goes to X.
Yes.
And that's where the new partner could potentially come into play, which is why the solicitor might be saying, let's sever this.
Oh, you've got to sever it.
Yeah.
I mean, because if we have a look at the partner that's living in the house with the kids, and I can tell you right now, I've actually seen this. People I know, this has happened. IRL, John. Do you know what IRL is?
Real life.
In real life. So what can happen if the person with the terminal illness dies and the tenancy isn't separated, the current parent receives this money, right? The current parent, we don't know the status if there is a partner on the scene. There could be a partner on the scene, come in 5 years later. The current parent who now owns fully the house deceases and money goes to the new parent and the kids could actually miss out on the inheritance. And I've actually seen that twice. People I know, good friends of mine and some other people in my world, I've seen it twice.
That's not great.
So I think what we need to potentially do is 100% be guided by the solicitor.
Yep.
And sort this out now. The problem, and I was driving in today thinking, I'm about to talk about this comment on Facebook on the podcast. Please hear me loud and clear. The stuff that we're about to say, when you go to a lawyer or if there is a lawyer listening, you might be jumping out of your chair saying, Glen and John, shut up, because you've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is guide you in a way to get you thinking. So when you go to the lawyer, say, I heard some dickhead on a podcast say this. What do you think? And the lawyer will go, that guy's a dickhead. Yeah. However, do it this way.
Yeah.
So,
and I think also being separated, like this is an awful situation.
Oh,
by
horrendous.
The way. It's not, and I'm feeling for this person in question, but there's only one solicitor mentioned here. So I'm not sure that whole relationship, how that's going.
Well, the surviving parent who lives in the house would have to agree to sever the tenancy.
Well, I'm
otherwise
reading
you've got
that.
to litigate, right?
No, correct. But because they're separated,
Yeah.
they might want to engage a solicitor each.
Oh, to sever a tenancy, I don't think you would need two solicitors.
No, but where I'm going with that is the relationship
could be deteriorated.
Yes. So we just may need some independent sort of logic for our own individual situation.
So when it comes to stuff like this, as sad as it is, and I'm going to just be so clinical, I'm answering this question. I don't give a crap about the surviving parent. I don't give a crap about the surviving parent's future partner. I don't give a crap about the terminally ill's partner who's lopped up on the scene over the last 18 months. I want to make sure that money flows from the person with a terminal illness
to the kids,
so their wishes are in place.
100%.
So some things that I was just thinking of, and this is where it starts to get wild. Stop listening now, everyone. One thing you could do, there won't be heaps of money. So let's just make an assumption that the house is worth $800, there's a mortgage on it for $500, right? So let's assume that there's $300K of meat in the house. Let's assume that the parent who has the terminal illness might have $100K in super. We don't know. It could be more, could be less. And let's assume that there is a default $250K of death benefit in super, okay? We won't assume any other insurance. Number one, when you receive terminal diagnosis, you can release your money from superannuation, okay? So let's get 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, 650 in total. There won't be heaps of money.
Yeah,
650 is
I would
probably
say it's less.
Yeah, because you wouldn't say. I wouldn't use the word heaps with 600 grand.
No.
So let's worst case.
I'm thinking 150 each or something like that.
Really?
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Just
I don't know.
maybe
I mean,
me in the 1990s, but
either way, let's just make the assumption that there is 50K in super then and 100K of equity in the house and no death cover. So we'll call it 150. So what I'm doing is, as soon as you can, it's all about control, and superannuation falls outside of the estate. So you could effectively nominate the 2 kids as a beneficiary on the super,
yeah.
and that would go to them. That's locked in. I don't love that.
Why?
It just gets who's managing the money and like all that stuff. What I was thinking, you want to make sure that the will is very clear. And this is where the part that I would want to ask a lawyer. So I took some people to a lawyer, and and this is only like less than 2 years ago, roundtable discussion, blended family, money everywhere. And my question to the lawyer was, in the will, the new partner on the scene, do you put in the will, I give a $20,000 gift to new partner? There was a school of thought that by even doing that isn't wise because it's a door open. It's like, well, they said they were going to give me 20 grand. It's probably I was living with them. It needs to be more. So there's a door for it to be challenged. So their advice based on the situation that I was in was don't mention the partner in the will.
Right.
Now, I wonder if there is a legal document that you could put in the will or draw up some type of document that the new partner has loaned $10,000 to the person and a loan is repaid from the estate. And then something is signed, even by the new partner of 18 months, that's your money. So just really lock that in. I'm not too worried. I don't know the situation, but if you don't have heaps of money anyway, probably don't want to be giving 10% away, which could be 10 grand. I mean, do what you want.
Yeah, well, it sounds as though it is a bit of do what you want because they're not questioning should I. It's like it's happening sort of thing. So,
and then the other thing with wills, you could divert the money from your super to your will and create a will with what they call a testamentary trust provision, which effectively means that trust kicks in the event of your death, and then that trust, you'd have a trustee, there's money invested in the estate of blah, blah, blah for the purpose of the kids. The reason why people do testamentary trusts like that is the income that kids earn from a testamentary trust isn't taxed at the normal kid rate. It goes up through the normal tax scale. So it's like at first, call it 20 grand a year tax-free. But I don't know if it's worth spending their money on a will with testamentary trust provisions if there isn't, quote unquote, heaps of money.
Depends on the number.
So what you could do, because it's all about setting this stuff up, the first thing that jumped to mind to me was potentially withdrawing any super now and putting that in an investment bond in your name with the kid's name as a beneficiary because it's not an estate asset. It falls outside of that. That's one option. The other option would be to, if you do have super, pull the money out now and set up 2 super funds in the kid's name and seed them if there's not heaps of money, all right, well, let's just put 20 grand in each kid's super fund.
Because it's their super.
It's their
Do what
super,
they want.
locked away,
Yep.
gives the kids a good head start.
And they can't touch it.
And they
too,
can't
which
touch
is good.
it, so you don't
no
know
one
if your
has to-
kids are going to grow up to be little turds and blow it when they're 21. Like, it's a really way to protect it. The other thing, though the primary parent is trying to buy out the property, let's get the primary parent to make this transaction ASAP. Sure, sever the tenancy and buy out. We basically just want to line up the ducks so everything's in play now. So when said person dies, all that's in the estate is potentially a car, some furniture, and there could be I don't know. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah, you just want it to be as least clunky as possible. For
So
everyone.
I'm thinking potentially investment bonds for the kids, although it's not a binding thing where they can't get the money till 25. Like my niece and nephews have got money in a bond each. It's in my name, and I've noted that you log into Gen Life and it's got their name. Jeffrey Bellwood, James Bellwood. The intention is that this money is accessed after age 25 because you can write in what your intention is in the application.
Yeah.
Where if I died and it landed on their lap at 18, they could be like, yep, I'll take that money or take it tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think it's like one in super, one in investment bond. One's arguably liquid, the other's there for the next 50, 60
locked
years
in,
for them.
yeah.
So that's probably a key decision in consultation with the solicitor, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think a trust, because there won't be heaps of money. Why do we want extra admin and paperwork?
Nah.
Look, just my advice would be to lock this down ASAP. And the truth is as well, like a terminal illness, it could still cost a few $1,000s for out-of-pocket palliative care and all this stuff. And we don't know how old the kids are, do we?
Well, it says young.
Young,
So young is single digits,
Yeah.
would have thought.
Yeah, wildness. Anyway, good fodder.
All
but
the best with it.
you've just really got to make sure that buyout of the house happens before you die or at the very least sever the tenancy now. Because if someone's got a terminal illness of 18 months to live or whatever, that could change in a matter of 3 months. They could have some treatment, get sick and so that's why we need to get this happening now. And potentially as well, remember, if there is default cover in the super fund of death cover, the terminal illness clause should pay that out.
Yeah, and the fact that it's been posted on New Year's Eve suggests that, they are onto things.
Anyway, we might leave it there today. Thanks so much, everyone. Hey, if you've enjoyed the show, I'm surprised. And actually, we'll do an after party. If you are new, sometimes John and I, we don't actually get to catch up that much. We do an after party after the show. But if you have enjoyed this episode, please send it to a friend or family member. And please remember, any type of advice that comes out of my trap, particularly legal advice, is not good.
It's general.
It's just, it's borderline. I don't even know if I'd use the general word, but we'll...
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.
Right. So after party, something weird happened the other day.
Really?
Very weird.
This year?
Yep. I just wanted to, I don't know, it was only like a couple of days ago. We were going out on the boat fishing, a few of us, and because I've got the fridge and the freezer on the boat.
Right. Was my phone turned off?
Sorry?
Was my phone turned off that day? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As if you would ever come out on the boat.
Man, I would love a trip on the boat.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Any case, you're out there with your esky.
Out there. So I'm like, the night before, ducked into Coles and bought some snacks for the boat.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Healthy, of course.
Sorry?
Healthy.
Well, I'm like, I just want food because there was a few people and there was going to be a couple of kids. So I went to the grab and go type section and I bought some ham, cheese and tomato sandwiches from Coles.
Yeah,
in
pre-made.
The wrapping. And at the time I was like, this is so wild. I was like $7.50 each, all right? So I bought 5 of them.
Yes.
Like $32.50 or whatever it is for, I'm like, far out. I should just buy a loaf of bread. And anyway, you pay for convenience, all that stuff.
You do.
So out on the boat, got them out, threw one, and because Maddie had his boat, and we kind of tie them together. So Maddie and Tim were on his boat, and another guy, Timmy, and Maddie's kids were on my boat. Had 3 of his kids on my boat.
And none on his.
None on his.
Yeah.
And then they've gone and anchored. Anyway, I'm like, why have I ended up with Matthew's kids? But they're good kids, so it's all fun. Anyway, lunchtime, anyone want a sandwich? Yep. Got one, threw it over. There you go. I had one. No one else wanted, so 2 left over. Peeled them, eating them. And I'm like, these don't taste, this is no flavour, right? And then Tim was like, what's the go with these? There's like 0 flavour. I'm like, I don't know. Like, anyway, the 3 of us agree that these are not tasty. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Then I looked on the container.
Gluten,
and it's
vegan.
No. Love it or your money back.
Ah.
This
right.
is Coles brand.
Okay.
Right?
So there should have been taste, but there wasn't. It was all ingredients and additives and
Well, I don't know, but I'm like, I've just paid $32.50 for 5 sandwiches.
Yeah.
We don't love them.
Or $38.
How much was it?
5 by $7.50.
No, let me find. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. But it's a lot of money for
Coles.
one sandwich with egg in it.
32. No, they refunded me 32.5. I'm bad at maths. 32.5 divided by $6.50 rather.
Right.
Sorry. $6.50 each. Still, it's like, anyway. So I took the 2 and I kept my receipt weirdly at home. I wasn't going to. Never kept my receipt. So I took this home, put them in the fridge. The next day or the day after, whatever it was, I'm like, I'm going to Coles Newcastle West because we didn't love these. So I walked in and went up to the counter.
And you're like, this is the first person in the last 12 months who's done this.
Who's ever did this? So like, they said, love it.
Yeah.
Or actually, let me find.
Which is open to interpretation.
That's right.
So you could eat. You could eat 4 of them and say, well, no,
Here we go.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Coles Kitchen. Let's have a look here. I'm going to share this on the screen. I'll just make sure my email doesn't show up because we've got technology now in the studio, guys. Yep. What's that say there, John? Oops, hang on.
White bread. There's some energy there.
No. Oh, freaking hell.
It's got a health star rating of 3 out of 5.
Okay, there. Try it, love it, or your money back.
Geez, you looked at the fine print, didn't you? That's not glowing across the front of these sandwiches.
No. So anyway,
This
so
is
walked
like
up
right
to
near where it's
Newcastle
made.
West Coles, right? Go up to the little cigarette counter.
Coles Newcastle West wouldn't even know that that's a thing.
Yes. Walked up. Oh, actually, I didn't share it on the screen. Hang on. There, everyone. You can see it now.
If you look with your magnifying glass.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you'll see that there. If you're still watching us, God help you. Try it, love it, or your money back. Anyway, walked up to the counter. I'm like, hi, how are you? Good. I'm like, I bought these the other day and I need to return them. Here's my receipt. And I'm like, they just weren't that nice. And she did it and she's like, oh, I don't know if we can. She's like, I need to get someone to help. So she went and got another wonderful worker in another fantastic mood.
Someone up the scale.
And comes up and she's looking at this return matrix and all that.
On the screen or looking at the product?
They had a printed laminate thing of return policy.
Right.
And she said to me, this other lady said, oh, I can only return these 2. I can't return the other 3.
That you didn't like.
Yeah, and I said, no, your thing says try them, love them,
I haven't
or
even
your money
tried
back.
These 2.
3 of us tried them.
Yeah.
We agree that they didn't taste nice,
Yeah.
hence we didn't love them.
No.
I would like my money back. She's like, well, there's no proof. I'm like, do you want to bring in 3 half-eaten sandwiches, do you? And I was being nice. I was just like, what are we doing here? And then lady said to the other lady, oh, you can decide. Do what you want. Walks away. And I'm like, this is your own product.
Yeah.
Does no one do this?
No. Obviously not.
I tried it. I loved it. Anyway, she, was it begrudgingly? I forget the word, having a stroke. Begrudge. What's the word? I'm having a stroke, John. Begrudgingly.
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 Yeah, begrudgingly. Returned your money.
Returned my $32.
Right.
And I'm just like, that was more stressful than it should have been.
Yeah. Well, I take 2 things out of that.
She said we can't do it.
One is no one's ever come in requesting that their egg sandwich be refunded.
It was ham, cheese and tomato. Thank you.
And secondly, Coles have now nationally taken that wording off their sandwich.
If you work for Coles and you're listening to this and you're up in management, reach out. Let's have a chat. But also don't care.
I'm actually in a group with a person from Coles who's reasonably high up. I'm going to, in passing, just mention that to her. She'll be very excited to see what's happening on the ground.
I said, I'm really sorry. I'm just following instructions here.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Well, it's there.
Like, as a brand, if this is not an easy, oh, you bought 5 sandwiches, you didn't love them, bam, 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 why do we need to call another person? Why do we need to bring out this laminated matrix to look at, this, that?
But
what are we doing
if you didn't have the receipt, you were screwed.
Oh, I reckon I would have been screwed. I certainly wouldn't been able to get the 3 lost ones. I mean, I ate it all, but I didn't love it.
And did you say, thanks for my $32, but can I now eat those 2?
Yeah, can I have them? So anyway, I thought that was just like, just had to vent, had to get that out
Never
to
cease
John.
to amaze.
All right, bye.